Ladies and gentlemen and programmers, let's do CarLoan 2.2. We're going to add a switch statement into it. Let's take a peek at how this thing is going to work when we're done. And let's see here. Let's bring this thing over. Do it. You can do it. There it is. All right, let's take a look. So let me execute it. So it's going to say something like this. Let's enter your total cost of the car, just like we've been doing. Same thing. How many years? 3. Okay, so now here's the part that's different. It's asking us for our credit score. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to use the switch statement to calculate the interest rate based on the credit score, because that's kind of actually how it really happens. So I'm going to say my credit score is fair. Okay. It's not going to do that. That part should not be there. But it says your credit score is fair and your interest rate is now 6%. So now we have the program calculating our interest rate. Okay, so that's basically what we want it to do. All right. So let's jump back over here. Okay. So that's how it's going to work. All right. So again, instead of asking the user for the interest rate, we will calculate it depending on their credit score. And so this is kind of how it actually works. So if you have a bad credit score, you're going to end up paying more each month with a higher interest rate. And so the better your credit score, the lower your interest rate is going to be. Okay. All right. So what I want you to do is create a new instance variable named credit score that holds string. Okay. And so where do we declare instance variables? Hopefully you know the answer to that. Hit pause and answer that. We store them at the very top. So see if you can do that. See if you can do that. Create that instance variable at the top before I do it. So hit pause and see if you can figure it out on your own. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to come up here to the very tippy top and you're going to say string credit score. Okay, so it doesn't hold integers, it holds letters. So get that code in there first. Okay, let's jump back over to our spiel here. Okay, so now I want you to replace the code that asks for the interest rate with code that asks for their credit score. Okay, so you're going to say system.out. So get rid of this code. What is your interest rate? And we're going to say system.out.println. Is your credit score good or bad, fair, good, or excellent? And then what I want you to do is use the scanner to store the answer into the variable called credit score. So see if you can do that and hit pause and see if you can get that done. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to come down here to what is your interest rate. So I'm actually going to move this. I'm going to press Control X. I'm going to give it a little backspace. And then I'm going to put it here. I want it to be last. It's just going to be a little bit cleaner if we put it last. Okay. So we're going to say, instead of this, we're going to say system.out.println. We're going to switch that over to this. So we're going to copy. Well, I can't copy that code. I guess I can now. Copy that code, and then I'm going to come back over here, and I'm going to make it say that instead. Okay, so here's your credit score: bad, fair, good, comma, or excellent. Okay, so now instead of getting the interest rate, what are we trying to get? We're trying to get the credit score. So watch what happens. Okay, now here we go. Quiz question: what error are we going to get right now? What error are we going to get right now? We're definitely going to get some sort of error. So let's hit execute to see what happens. Incompatible types. An int cannot be converted to a string. All right, so the problem is, see if we can figure out this problem. So our credit score can only hold what? String, letters, right? And so it's this thing that has letters, and we're trying to shove in an integer into it. So we can't do that. So what do we change this to? If we can figure it out. Line. So if we wanted to get string, we do line, okay? And then what we're going to do is, so once we get it, yeah, so we're going to say credit score equals, okay, so now we're good. So let's see, we should be able to execute it and not have any error messages. I hope. No? No, I don't know what its problem is. Oh, I guess it was glitching. Okay, so no problem. No problems from us. Okay, so let's keep going over here. All right, let's go back to our spiel here. Let's present this. Let's go to the next page here. Okay, okay, so what I want you to do is search up for a Java switch and just kind of remind yourself on how to do that. So let's take a peek at that. Okay, so if we're over here, okay, so let's go over here, Java. If you search for Java switch, remember it says switch, you put the expression that you're evaluating, you have your curly brace, closing curly brace, and then you have the different cases with the colon, break, semicolon. That's kind of the way to do it. Okay, so keep that in mind as you're doing this project. So let's go back over here. Okay, so what I want you to do is create a switch statement right below the code that we just wrote, and it's going to evaluate your credit score. Okay, so if they type in bad, set the interest rate to 8, create a message that indicates the score is bad and the interest rate is 8%. If it's fair, set the interest rate to 6, and then create a message, set the rate to 6, so on and so forth. Okay, so you can take a look at that. All right, so let's see if you can try that. At least try it on your own and see how that works out for you. I want you to try that on your own, see how it works. All right, let's jump over to it and let's see what we can do here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to come right here. Where are we at? Okay, so we just got our credit score, and so then we're going to do the switch, and we're going to look at the credit score. So we'll just copy. I like to copy it so I don't spell it wrong because that could be a disaster. And then you have your opening curly brace, and then enter. You have your closing curly brace, and then you're going to do your case. So if the case is bad, and then you put not a colon, you put a semicolon, and then you're going to put some sort of code that looks something like, I don't know, say something like this. So we're going to hit enter. It should be tabbed in a little bit. So then we're going to say system.out. Your credit score is bad and your interest rate is 8%. And then we're going to actually set the interest rate to equal 8. And then we're going to hit break. All right. So my hope is at this point you can do the rest on your own. So try to see if you can figure out the rest of that on your own. Okay, and see how that works for you. So I'm going to hit okay, so the rest is going to look something like this. If the case is fair, your credit score is fair and your interest rate is 6, set the interest rate to 6, so on and so forth. You have at the end you have the default. So if they type in any other weird thing other than, oh, you know what? I did this one totally wrong. That has to be string. Oopsie. Okay. And so that's what it's going to look like. All right, let's run it. So I had a weird error last time I did this. Let's see what happens. And I figured out how to fix it, but I don't know. Let's see what happens. Okay, so it's working now. I didn't have this thing. Okay, so I didn't have that button clicked. So enter the total cost of the car. We're going to do our standard 10,000. Enter. How many years? 3. What is the down payment? 2,000. Okay, it did this last time. Okay, let's take a look. So it did this thing. For whatever reason, it's not going to read. It's not reading. So I'm going to do this. I'm just going to copy this, and I'm going to hit enter and do this again. I don't know. It shouldn't need 2 of those, but for whatever reason, there's an issue with it. Let's try it again. Let's see how it works this time. Okay, it cost me 10,000. Enter. Years is 3. Down payment is 2,000. Okay, so is your credit score? I'm going to say it's fair. Okay, your credit score is fair and your interest rate is 6. Your monthly payment is okay. So that's it. So that's so we've added this switch statement up here, and that seems to work. All right. So hopefully you guys have luck on that. That's it for me.